Alright guys, now first of all, man, as you guys may have heard, the dub of this episode was delayed. And as far as I could tell from what the tweets have said, only this episode got delayed for its dub. The last two episodes of Vigilantes Season 2 should still be released normally as a same-day simuldub. For whatever reason, this episode got delayed, and next week it seems like we'll be back to our regular scheduled program. I don't know what happened, why this episode got delayed. My guess, because of what happened with Solo Leveling Season 2, which also had like a delay midway through its season with one episode, due to them getting some like no-name rapper or some musician that no one's heard about to voice a character that was like completely auto-tuned, that was auto-tuned to oblivion. You couldn't even tell it was him to be there regardless, one of the monster characters. That episode got delayed seemingly for that reason. I don't know if the same thing happened with this episode. There weren't any real major new characters where if they did bring in a celebrity, they would get major, they get major screen time in terms of having to like teach them the ropes out and to be dubbing and everything. I don't know. Maybe one of the other cast members was ill or something. They were away at a convention, and instead of just having social over the episode, they decided to delay the episode. I don't know. Aaron Campbell, you guys know the voice in number 6, made a tweet when this news had dropped that the wait would be worth it. No idea if he means that someone making a cameo appearance in this episode or just the quality of the actual episode itself, which this episode was phenomenal. I don't know. But whatever the case may be, this episode got delayed, but seemingly next week and the last episode of Season 2 will once again be back to same-day simuldubs. That's at least what it looks like, man, because the tweet only mentioned this episode, rather with Gacha Yakata, they made a point to mention that, only Core 1 was going to be a same-day simuldub, and from Core 2, it was going to be back to the usual 2-week delay simuldub. Next 2 weeks should be back to normal. Speaking of next week, man, that is going to be one hell of an episode, ladies and gentlemen. What an episode that will be, man. We got Knuckle Duster in the episode, seemingly. We're going to have All Might appear as well. I did see some people theorize that Nakamura is going to be on Vigilantes Season 2 more than likely the next episode, because that's All Might in it. Obviously, it's going to be a big episode. And people theorizing that he was there, or theorized that he was in Vigilantes. That's why he only did second key animation for a couple scenes in the final season for Hero Wakaman. Obviously, more is also a factor too, and I'm sure Nakamura's on that. Surely he's on that. I pray that Nakamura is on that at the very least. Utapon is on more. I hope we get. I'm not expecting that the critics we know is not there because we know more. It's an action heavy. It's obviously Izuocha focus. So maybe we'll get like an armor transformation from Nakamura. That'd be sick, man. Probably the last shot where Izuku's transforming as he runs up the rest of Class A. I would assume somewhere around there, man. I would not be surprised if he does a transformation sequence. But we will see we'll see where Nakamura ends. You guys know he just appeared in Free Run Season 2. I haven't seen his cut because obviously I'm waiting to see waiting to actually watch Free Run Season 2, and I don't want to spoil myself seeing Nakamura's cut before that, so you guys will get my reaction to it whenever I get to start watching Free Run Season 2, whenever that day comes. But yeah, man. So yeah, that's happening, man. Nakamura. We might have a bit of a stream. We might have Utapon and Free Ren. Then we'll have him pop up Vigilantes next week, and then in what was it, May, I think it was. I think is when Vigilantes is when more is coming out. We'll see him there too. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Utapon's made a lot of appearances here. Like I know he appeared in like this movie directed by Shingo Yamashita. You guys remember is like the Naruto vs. Pain guy. One of the best animators out there, man. He's incredible, man. Directed a movie, and Nakamura was apparently in that one as well. It's on Netflix. So yeah, bro's been busy. Utapon has been busy this year. Assuming he is in fact in Vigilantes and more, or just more. We'll have to wait and see on that later. But anyway, Nakamura's been a busy man this year, seemingly. Regardless. Anyway. So enough me rambling. Wanted to mention that real quick, guys. So we'll get a double episode reaction for this episode when it drops in dub near at the end of the month. And yeah, so see you guys. So yeah, anyway, guys, enough me rambling. Let's get into the actual episode. So we start the episode off right where we left off last week with Captain Celebrity taking a pummel and getting beaten down by these dragon bombers, whatever I called him last time, I forget what I called him. Anyway, so he's somehow still standing, but he's obviously bloody. but he still managed to stand and keep the Sky Egg up. Koichi is still just standing in that one place, but fine. But then the All Might jacket with the Sky Egg logo on it, like, kind of floats into the air and basically lands right on top of Koichi. And now with his hoodie, Koichi finally gets off his ass and does something. So after the OP, we then cut back over to some of the appeals of his Sky Egg, trying to get contact, man. Makoto is trying to reach Counselor, but as you guys know, he is a bit preoccupied at the moment. No one knows what's going on. Eventually, number 6 fires an EMP, kills everything, and kills the power. No one's got cell service. Everyone's wondering what the fuck is going on. We find then one of the guys comes in there with like the blueprints or whatever of the Sky Egg, and mentioning how, like, when there's like an earthquake or something, the elevators are shut off and the emergency stairways open up, but because the power's out, that's how they're opening, so they're basically trapped inside. Then Best Jeans actually gets some dialogue this episode, so good to hear. So it'll be good to hear Micah in here. Anyway, he comes up with a plan, basically, that they're going that because Makoto can't reach Knuckle, I don't know if he's a Knuckle Duster, Captain Celebrity, they're basically assuming that he's out. He's done. He's out. He's incapacitated. You know, he is a non-factor. So so first they want to establish they want to understand, confirm the status of inside and outside the building, and then establish a line of communication to the outside and prepare to intercept any enemy. 50,000 lives are in our case, and we will not let a single one be lost. Shout out to Izuku. We'll combine our strength and weave a saved as he like. I don't know what he's fucking with. I don't know if it's like those carbon wires that we see him using, or like his little own outfit or whatever, denim, whatever it is. Anyway, creates a net with his hands with whatever fabric or thing he's using to say that we should create safety. Mirko also gets some dialogue too, which is great. So we'll get to hear Neris this episode as well. As you guys know, I mentioned in my last, but I'm really excited for that like backstory episode that she gets when she's in the luchador mask. So I'm really excited to see what that's when we get it, which I'm assuming will be in season 3. Anyway, so Mirko's like, I'm not too fond about teamwork, but let's do it. So then we come back to the main stage itself. The President Mike, everybody, listen to me. I love President Mike say you, man. The random English was a nice touch, man. Listen to me. Oh man. English is always fun, man. It's always good hearing some English. Anyway, President Mike says other than that, all this shitty shaking and blackouts is an earthquake. That's what we know for so far. So please stay still. Or I think he said, please stay. The subtitle said, please stay, so it sounds like he just said, please stay. I couldn't really make it out exactly as I'm shouting. Anyway, so Makoto mentions that there's an access point in the upper area of the dome that can be manually opened, so that's why they can get out and start to see and find what's going on. Which they send Mirko after she just busts down the door, along with Ryukyu and the mech guy. I don't think we ever got his actual name. And meanwhile, we also cut back to seeing some of the other guys, like the Wild Wild Pussycats, keeping the kids entertained, and one lone boy is sleeping on Midnight's lap. Lucky bastard. Seriously, bro, that's gotta be soft, man. Anyway. So they get through there, and Ryukyu goes through the opening that's inside there, man. We cut back to Captain Celebrity, and his visor falls off, man. He fell asleep somehow, almost dozed off, but he gets back and he's like, hey, man, it's all right, I almost fell asleep. I was like, his you sounded great here, man. I'm curious to see how Sean is going to portray this, man, because at least Sean's voice. Now I've never listened to the Seiyu of Captain Celebrity before this episode. I don't know how he usually sound, but his voice was obviously a lot lower here and like more serious, because he's holding up ability. He's been getting the shit kicked out of him for minutes on end, so obviously he's not going to be as energetic as usually. So I'm very curious to see how Sean is going to portray this when the W just drops at the end of the month. But he sounded pretty good, man. Anyway, so he keeps telling him about how these punches of yours feel like a light breeze. Why don't we stop this, man? I'm on the job. You can't. I'm sure you can't keep regenerating forever, etc., etc., etc. And it seems like he may have been right because some of the regeneration is taking longer on one arm compared to the other one. So I don't know if there is like a limit to the regeneration or just slow down for a bit. But whatever the case may be, Koichi finally comes up there and he is ready. He's using his core to keep him on his feet stuck to the roof. So and he's now using his projectiles to fire up at the explosive limbs, so they detonate, and he saves him from the extra hits. And he does like this charge attack they calls the Crawlers SGBBBB, 4 Bs, meaning.
Can you two hear me? All night. There's no time to go into details, so I'll have to keep this
short. Shooty go blam 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 blam, bro. You gotta work on a better name. This is fucking Chris, bro. Come on, Koichi. I know how you are, but come on, you can create a better name for your charge shot man. Just call it charge shot or just something better than that, bro. Come on, bro. You can do better. Anyway, we get to the commercial cards once again. We got commercial cards episodes this time. It was nothing. It was Koichi as well as Captain Celebrity. After we cut back to the episode, man, he's firing off his blast. Eventually, Koichi ends up falling. He ends up like losing. He ends up losing track of his speed, not maintaining control there, man. He ends up falling, but Captain Celebrity manages to grab him, tell him, hey man, if you fall, then no one's protect me, and if I fall, then nothing's gonna stop the Sky from falling over and crashing. So he pulls up Koichi back onto the roof, and he's like, hey man, can you lay up on the pressure? I get it. This is when we finally get to Captain Celebrity's origin, which I honestly thought was going to be a bigger portion of the episode, man, because this was only a small portion. I honestly thought this was going to take like most of the episode, honestly. But I mean, this sequence is honestly fantastic in its own right, man. Very well directed in certain scenes. Also, I almost forgot to mention this, man. The soundtrack for this episode is great. There's this one song that I don't know if this is a new track or not, with Koichi that they play when he finally makes his appearance. That's great. Shout out to Yuki Hayashi, man. He once again is killing it with the soundtrack. Anyway, so we get his origin. He's flying through. I'm assuming this is a college campus. From the looks, it looks like this is a college campus, but maybe this is high school. But I'm assuming this is college. Anyway, Captain Celebrity mentions how he's always been loved by adults, children, and especially girls. So he's reveling in all the cheers and the admiration of everyone there. And then as he's in the background, we see his wife walking past him, just scowling at him. And like, this woman, she got a wretched bitch face. The resting bitch face of all resting bitch face men. Jesus Christ, this woman always looks like she's pissed off. Anyway, so then she turns the corner into some building, and you can see him like just chilling on the wall, but she pays him no mind. She keeps walking, and then we see him here right in front of her, and he says, if I see someone with a sour look on their face, I can't help but ask about it. She tells him that's nothing, this is just how her face looks. Like I said, bro, she got a wretched bitch face of all resting bitch faces, man. It's honestly kind of shocking. Like, she really got that wretched bitch face, man. Like, god damn, she got it real bad. And then Captain Celebrity replies in all of his wisdom, alright, I happen to know a magic spell that turns that frown upside down. Lou just carries her, just starts flying around with her. He was so confident this would work. He says, I've been told this is more exciting than a roller coaster. If you get scared, then just hang on tight, let out scream. She just starts punching him. Lou just starts punching and kicking him. He's like, okay, hey, I'll put you down. Just wait 1 second. This is gonna be a fun episode to watch when Sean gets the voice in, man. Anyway, so he finally puts her down. She's like, oh, sorry, you guess you didn't like it? She's like, buddy, being forced on a roller coaster? No. Not to mention your smug smile being annoying. It's like, oh, no one's ever said that to me. You know what this reminded me? I don't know what this was, but I remember seeing something. It might have been like a movie or a cartoon, maybe another anime series where like a character that's all smug and shit, and then the one girl talks back to him and saying like, no man, nobody's ever talked to me like that. And then he's like suddenly in love with her. I don't know if I'm making shit up or that happened. And so if you guys know what I'm talking about, please let me know in the comments when I'm going crazy about. But that just came to my mind when I saw this scene. I was like, oh, this must be when he fell in love with his wife because she insulted him. Anyway, she goes on saying, I bet why bother getting mad at a balloon? And then Capstar's like, wait, you talking to me? You talking to me? I'm like, motherfucker, who the fuck else should you talk to? And she's just cheery, flashy, and empty on the inside. And then she walks up. We actually get to see that pastel or like color pencil look. From like one of the Vigilantes, from like almost like the final Aizawa episode earlier on the season. We see it once again here when she's walking in. Looks great, man. Also, speaking of which, guys, before I forget to mention this, Ken has risen back from the dead, and he has posted all the cuts for this episode, man. Like I said, I don't know what happened 2 weeks ago, man, where the dude didn't post anything, but I literally had to go and post the cuts. I mean, hey, good for me, man. I got 47 likes and 15 likes, plus another 17 from the Genga, the first one, now added to my profile, man. So, hey, I'll take the free likes, but I'm like, kind of surprised he wasn't on this shit. Next week, the following week, man, there was literally nothing to post, man, neither for me or him. So, but this week, he's finally back, posted all the stuff, man. Only one of them as an actual animator credit to them, unfortunately, but we'll talk about that one when we get there. But yeah, it was cool to see. I really hope we find out who the animator is that's behind this, man, because these scenes always look really fucking good. Also, by the way, speaking of colored pencils, man, have y'all seen the free run ED for season 2, man? That whole shit was drawn on colored pencils, man. By I think it was like one woman drew the entire ED on colored pencils, man. Absolute madness. Absolute madness. She posted like some like I guess Gengas or like the actual illustrations themselves that she drew them, man. It's insane, man. Like that Madhouse staff, man, is built different, man. It's built different. That production line in Madhouse is built different. Anyway, so Captain Slumber took the balloon thing to heart because the next time he visits her, he's carrying a balloon, which also is pretty funny. Actually, speaking of college, guys, one thing I forgot before I want to mention quickly on the video is that finally we have some sort of timeline or the closest thing we have concrete evidence about Pop's age. Now, you guys know me, Kobe Pop shipper, all that jazz, man. You know, I've been arguing about the age and whatnot, making kind of a joke about it. You know, doing Steiner Metro. We have something that's basically the closest thing I think we'll ever get straight because you guys know that the manga doesn't actually give us her actual age or anything. So someone had posted, this is something I saw on Twitter, like, yeah, this was something I posted yesterday from Mighty, the guy with the media profile, I'm sure you guys see him around. And so he posted this, someone posted this random panel of Pop walking in on Makoto and Koichi. What they're doing, I don't know. This is way well beyond where we're at currently in the anime. And so basically, mentioned this is time skip, and I think I mentioned this in my review, but apparently between season 2 or season 3 or the start of season 3, there's a 2-year time skip between the series. So basically, at this point in the story where this panel takes place, he claims that Koichi is 20, which makes sense because you know we last saw him when he was 19. Earlier on in season 1, and Pop would finally be 18, which technically would make her, at the start of the series, I think you even kind of mentioned the whole thing. Yeah, she was 15 when they met, and he was 19, meaning their age gap was only 4 years, so that's about, which is about where I placed it anyway, I think, or actually, no, I think I placed them in like 2 or 3 years, I think I placed it. But anyway, yeah, that's like about the closest thing we got to an actual confirmation of their ages, but yeah, basically season 3, she'll be 18 during season 3, apparently. Assuming if this dude's math is correct. But yeah, I mean, I still ship it, man. Besides, I haven't mentioned my videos that I feel like they would be friends for years and not be together until like near the end of the series or whatever. They've known each other for like 5+ years as friends, and then they go into romantic. That's always kind of like the rival in that. But yeah, I saw this like, all right, we finally got something. Because even I've been kind of annoyed about this whole thing about Pop's age and not having a straight up answer about this. But yeah, I am curious to know what this scene is and like what is the context of this and what Koichi and Pop were doing, or Koichi and Makoto were doing when Pop walks in on them, or at least like overlooks and sees them in like through the window or something. I'm very curious what this scene's gonna be about, but well, I guess I'll find out whenever we get to C3. Anyway, back to the episode. He said, "Good afternoon, I'm a balloon," and then he just kind of like floats over to her while he's like got his legs up, man, like he's he's trying to go for like a spin dash or something, like a balloon, trying to make himself circular. Anyways, he's like, he mentioned they wanted to apologize for the other day. He just wanted to make her happy and make her happy. He asks her if she's still mad. She says, "Not really." And he's like, "Oh great, I thought you might have hated me or something, considering how you glared at me when we first met." And then he like tries to put his arm over her, but she's like just slaps him away. Well, mind you, this whole time, her eyes do not leave the book that she's reading. This woman is a very studious student. She is gonna get her studying, so shout out her. She's having this whole conversation while her eyes never leave her book. So shout out to Captain Celebrity's wife, man. She a real. Anyway, she eventually says that she thought that how fun it must be to fly around like that. And then she's like, "I don't know more roller coaster rides for me. Only idiots and children enjoy that kind of thing." So then he goes and he asks her, "How about a balloon ride?" And then it's literally just them like floating slightly above the air, like a balloon. And she's like, why are we so close to the ground? This feels ridiculous for a whole different way. And he's like, "All right, you know, by request, the balloon ride shall now ascend." And this is when we get to the trailer, the shot that was in the next episode preview last week, where they kind of like go over the buildings and she sees the sunset or whatever, and she has that massive smile on her face. Honestly, pretty cute moment. And then from there, we cut over to where he goes fully on the offense, trying to win her over, trying to swoon her. Which this was done, this is the only cut that was credited for the episode. With the anime, at least as of recording this, it's off Kaburo. Ayana Nishino, if I'm pronouncing that right, is the anime behind this one. Anyway. So he like first he like tries to give her, so he tries to like ask her on a date with like tickets to something. Maybe it's like a concert, maybe it's a film or something. I'm not entirely sure. And then like we cut over to like him over the ears, where he goes trying to get her for coffee, then gives her a present, and then another time we just grab in full costume, following her again. Wait, if you actually pay attention to the back, I didn't notice this until Mighty pointed this out when I was looking for the tweet about Koichi and Popstat. Well, I still don't mind that she's 15, just when everything else is here, but fine. You know what? Fine, I'll take it. I will concede on that one. We at least, like I said, this is the closest we got to an actual timeline to at least give us a straight age of what exactly Koichi and Pop's age difference is. Anyway, but yeah, I still enjoy Man Bun, you know. Whatever. If it happens, if we get anything, great. If he has to go with Makoto or nobody, hey, whatever. It is what it is. Anyway. So, well, I don't know, maybe that scene's like with the confirmation, we're like, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see when season 3 comes out to see what the content between this manga panel was. Anyway, but like I said, yeah, you can see the balloon in the background, which I thought was a nice touch. And then finally, we get to like when he basically proposes to her, and she kind of like goes, and she's like low-key full tsundere here, where it says, you might be a stupid idiot who always seems fishy, but when I think about how most of the world is irredeemable trash. This chick's a tsundere on steroids, man. Like, just admit you love him, Jesus. You start to seem pretty nice in comparison. And then you got Captain Celebrity holding the ring out, be like, should I take that as a yes then? And I guess she said yes, and they just start flying out there. Once again, she starts freaking out, and she goes into dummy. Then we cut to their actual marriage. We don't see any of their parents. All the people here have their face are all missing their eyes. They're all just. It would have been nuts if we actually got to see who Clapton's celebrity parents were, who his wife's parents were, just some family members. I think would have been nice to see. For this one. But anyway, she throws the bouquet thing, and then this is when shit hits the fan, where she's now always mad at him. And like right before she said he was expecting to always see her happy every day. And this is when we start to get like context about what happened, about how he started having trouble with work. How people use his name to swindle people out of money, how he would beat someone else, then they would sue him. Like, I think I mentioned this in either season 1 or previous episode. This is literally like The Incredibles, the opening of The Incredibles. Like I said, it still almost feels like revisionist history just from how he came off in season 1. I feel like there was like an episode or two that just got cut out that further developed Captain Celebrity to make this gradual switch and like this change his personality and how the audience is supposed to view him, made it a little bit more seamless rather than be like, what the fuck? You know, like it felt like in season 2, but that's just me. Though I will say he was starting to grow on me by this point in the episode, man. I'm not gonna hold you. He was starting to grow on me, and I was starting to turn the corner on him and actually start to dig Captain Celebrity. Anyways, and then we get like this really cool shot where we kind of see him like going like how he's going through a revolving door of losses, where we see him in the courthouse, man, in a circular shot. It's just like judges or like the jury or whoever just circling around Captain Celebrity as he continues on his narration. So, which I thought was a really cool time. I thought this whole scene was done pretty well. Anyway, we cut back to the present, man, where Koichi has a way of smiling, thinking he was thinking back to something. They continue on the whole thing, but the dude ends up now combining his fists together into one massive attack. But right before it's about to blow, it ends up coming to dump. Thanks to Ayazawa coming in for the save, along with Fat Gum and Koneko, or whatever her name is, the crab chick is, driving him as he's like chowing down on some food to get his fat back. I'm like, bro, you better start eating. You gotta get that fat back, bro. Come on. Anyway, this is also when Beth Genius and the other heroes come in. We have this really nice cut with Ryukyu, or not Ryukyu, with Mirko, when she comes in there and takes down one of them with her lunar fall, man. This scene was really cool, man. Like I said, this was unfortunately the one cut with Captain Celebrity's the only thing that has anime credit to it, unfortunately. But this was probably the easiest animation part of the episode. But probably Miracle running up like the cell tower or whatever and landing his attack. This was amazing. So then we cut over to back to the inside of it with Ingenium, where Deft Arms, or whatever the dude's name is, comes in here with a big ass box of earpieces from I think it was actually from the Ingenium, like one of the Ingenium trucks on the outside, man. Like literally the whole box is filled with earpieces, man. I was also not surprised how many they were. They start putting it in, and now they're ready to rock and roll. Where we see Best Genius take out like I think it was like the main bomber dragon. He managed to restrain it, man, but he ends up losing his sleeves on his STEM jacket, and a little bit later in the episode, he loses like the top half of his pants, and then just basically just turned to jorts, which I thought was funny, and I thought the design of seeing him with basically his sleeveless with shorts was funny. I thought that design looked interesting. So then like the fiber wire things that we saw him use in like season 6 and season 7 come up here, and he uses that to hold up the Sky Tower, so finally Cap Slug doesn't have to do it all himself. And he's like, Queen's like, yeah, see, I was right. The hero managed to save the day. And then Captain Celebrity asks Koichi something. Ask him to say something to his wife, and maybe to let him know that Daddy was a great hero. And Koichi's like, sure, I don't buy them. You should really tell them yourself. And he talks some more. Then when he turns back, he knows that he's gone. He's now falling to his death because he's exerted all his energy. He has done his part, and now he will fall to his death. But then, as he's doing this whole thing, Koichi then jumps after him. And he jumps after the castle. It's like shot. They're like, "What are you doing?" He's like, Koichi's telling him to stop spacing out and to fly. He's like, "I don't have any more energy to fly. That's why I'm falling." So he ends up grabbing Koichi anyway and putting the force field around him. So finally, Koichi gets the barrier after that whole thing a couple episodes ago. Finally, Koichi gets to experience the Captain Celebrity barrier. Anyway, so some of the other pros tried to go after him, man. We come back to number 6. We're saying about how you folks managed to survive in season 15, but he isn't. But no. But number 8. First, he detonates one of the arms of the restrained bomber dragon to get out there, man. And then we get this shot of him just typing away in his phone, just looking extremely pissed off. He's like, bro is so fucking triggered here, man. It was a great job, and I look forward to. Hopefully, I can make the stick to that one, man, because that's a great shot. And I don't know if it was the same dragon or another one, goes onto the actual tower itself and blows it completely, seemingly destroying the building. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where the episode ends. Like I said, next week we got All Might, and the shot of him and Koichi, when All Might saves Koichi, man, that looking like that must have been magical for him, man. I am curious, since Izuku got a cameo last episode, if we're going to get another Izuku cameo in this episode. Maybe Izuku gets to see All Might fly away or something, or maybe him and Koichi lock eyes for a moment. That would be cool to see. If Izuku got to see All Might here, we get another Izuku cameo in the next episode. That would be sick if you actually have to see it. Anyway, so yeah, maybe we'll see Nakamura next week, maybe we won't. I'm not really holding my breath with that, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get to see Nakamura on next week's episode. I guess we'll find out. Also, these bold outlines on Knuckle Duster and the final shot, man, incredible work. Anyway, so next week, that's going to be a banger episode. That's going to be, and from some of the tweets I've been seeing, man, this seems to be a high favorite for manga readers of Vigilante. Like, this is like a lot of people, this as like their favorite chapter of the series. So next week, it's going to be big. It's going to be big, and might end up taking the throne from, I think it was episode 12 or episode 13, season 1, my favorite episode, Vigilantes. Did I say anything about the Aizawa episodes being that? I don't know if I did. Whatever. It's up there in competition as my favorite episode of Vigilantes. It seems like it'll be one of those episodes. But we'll have to wait and see on that, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, guys, hope you guys episode 9 out of 10. Guys, hope you guys did the video. You like what we did, subscribe for new. Comments if you feel like it. Links are below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.